Hey y'all, thank you for joining me for this month's Divine Masculine Energy Reading. If it's your first time joining me, my name is Keita. If you are a returning viewer, welcome. I am literally overflowing with downloads and channelings to the point where I just had one right before I pushed play on the video. And I needed to share it before I go into the notes that I've organized. And I'm pretty sure I'm leaving out some shit. So I was just thinking how, like, man, I got so many damn downloads and messages and channelings to communicate to the Divine Masculine Collective that I gotta press play now, or it's only gonna continue to build up, right? And I was thinking, that's one of my shadows. Like, I very much at least used to be the type of person that would take so much shit off of people until I fucking explode, like rage. Now that I've done shadow work and continue to do shadow work and am aware of it being my shadow and have integrated it, I use it for my good. I use that very same pattern in order to let the information accumulate and then bring it forth, or channel that same whatever energy that's piling up within me and like use it towards something productive, right? This may be pertinent to the message for y'all though, like there being a buildup of feelings, emotions, passions, or whatever, and like it's just brimming to the top. You know what I'm saying? Like you about ready to burst type of thing. Things that you've been holding back that need to be said, things that ideas and shit like that that you've had that you have not brought into fruition that need to be put into play or action. It may differ for each of you according to your circumstances, but that in itself is a channel message. But I'm going to share with y'all the notes that I've been making over time, past, I say, a couple of weeks. And we're going to piece it all together, because one thing that's been being made clear to me is that masculines, divine masculines, are amidst a storm that they cannot sleep through, that you all cannot sleep through. When I say masculines, if you're new to the channel, let me just give the disclaimer. I am not necessarily talking about men. I'm talking about the inner masculine energy within feminines, which is that which takes action and provides and protects yourself and things of that nature. We all got masculine and feminine energy, as well as those who have dominant masculine energy. But yeah, masculines are divine masculines, because there's a difference, are amidst a storm that they cannot sleep through. And so you can't ignore it. It's going on around you. The storm being changed. The energy of Oya in the Orisha pantheon, which represents sudden change coming through to shake shit up and bring forth, clear out whatever needs to be cleared out and to make way for whatever is new. It brings about change, endings and beginnings. And we are at the very tail end of a universal 9 year. 9 is Oya's number. And so this year has very much been one of internal and external change for many of us. So it's good to take time to reflect, as it is December and we're moving into a new calendar year. The Chinese New Year is in February, I think. And then spring, we're in like the fourth quarter, where for me, spring is the new year because it's also my birthday. But being in the fourth quarter, if you think of it that way, it's still a good time to take an assessment of where you are, how you want to move forward, how you want to close out this cycle and put things into play to wrap some shit up, and also start something new, creating those goals and putting things in play for your next chapter or next cycle. The desire, the urge to sleep through this storm is because you over it. It's overwhelming. You're afraid of change. And for some of you, you're viewing this change as loss. Your perception is that the change equates to loss. And for many of you, that's been the case up to this point, where changes in your life have equated to loss in some way. You have not been able to see the silver lining around those changes and the blessings that the changes brought into your life, or why the change was necessary. But that's one of those things that many of you are being led to leave in 2025. This being the year of the snake, part of that skin that you shed is not continuing to grieve over the old skin. You're growing, you're evolving, you're literally having a growth spurt. And so to hold on to what has to be left behind, it's like when your feet outgrow your shoes. You know what I'm saying? You're naturally supposed to grow. Your feet ain't supposed to stay the same size your whole life. Your feet are literally your vehicles through life. And as you grow up to a certain point, your feet gonna grow. You don't keep the same shoes because you like those shoes and those shoes were once comfortable. Let them feet grow. Let you mature as you naturally are supposed to. You're gonna need new shoes. Or if you continue to wear the old shoes, them hoes gonna be uncomfortable as hell. So it just requires acceptance, adaptability, flexibility, and receptivity. Be receptive to the changes that are taking place in your life. Because as long as you either being receptive or you're being resistant. And as long as you are resistant, you are prolonging suffering in your life. And so that's part of my notes. Part of what's being left behind is performative masculinity. So many of you have been taught what it is to be a man. And it's to provide and protect and to pay the bills and be the head of the household and to be in control and to be the leader and all of those things, which I'm not saying that it's not, different strokes for different folks. In the natural order of things, you got masculine energy and you got feminine energy. In order, those both have to be in place in order to have balance. But in a healthy connection, you're gonna need balance between masculine and feminine energy in both individuals in a relationship. Two whole individuals consist of someone with balanced masculine and feminine energy on both sides of the coin. So it's not all on one person to bring a certain something to the table. You're going to have strengths and weaknesses. Your partner going to have strengths and weaknesses. It's all a matter of learning how to bring that together for the greater good of your union, and all that's involved in your union. So you want to keep that in mind, as well as many of you are stressing about what it is to be a man, how a man's supposed to show up in this world, not having the funds to pay the bills or provide the lifestyle that you think is supposed to provide. And I'm a living witness. Like, I've had a relationship, at least one, where this particular person came as close as I've ever experienced of a man fulfilling that role to the best of his ability, or not the best of his ability, but the best he knew how. He could have done better in terms of providing and protecting. But it's not a healthy, happy, whole relationship if you're not emotionally protective. If you don't bring emotional intelligence and emotional maturity, or the desire and the effort to have that to the table. A lot of men are behind the 8-ball on it, because who been teaching y'all this shit, right? So then you got to be willing to learn. You got to be present and aware and acknowledge where you lack in that area and open to learn. And so in that way, as I've said before on the channel, there's a bit of submission. If the feminine energy is the one who's more comfortable in the emotional arena, expressing her emotions, being more emotionally intelligent, being more emotionally mature and emotionally sound and expressive and all of the things, why wouldn't you follow her lead on it? Why wouldn't you be open to her counsel and her example on that? The same with masculines and logic, if that's the case. If you're strong, not all men are strong logically. Not all men are strong when it comes to financial literacy as it's perceived. You might get in a relationship with a woman's more financially literate. Why wouldn't you take her counsel or let her teach you some things in their regard if that's her strong point and your weakness? So you have to do what's best for your union, and if you're not in union, you just have to work on these things yourself. So like for me, as a single woman, it's my responsibility to protect myself. So that means I can't be out here not knowing how to fight. I can't be out here not knowing how to shoot. I can't be out here not willing to stab a motherfucker. I can't be out here not willing to cuss a motherfucker out if I need to, because sometimes your word is your gift of your word and your communication is your first line of protection against somebody. Hell, your nonverbal communication can be a line of protection. But as a single woman, I can't afford not to, because who the fuck else gonna do it, right? So we have to take those things into consideration as we're navigating the journey of internal and external union of divine masculine and divine feminine energy. And I can go all day on what it is for a divine feminine to show up in her divine masculine energy and protect herself and provide for herself and what that looks like. But we gonna move on. But for many of you, you're looking at the changes that you're experiencing as loss in some way, when the abundance lies in a simple perspective shift, seeing things from a different perspective, and that is actually not a loss at all, that you're being expanded, that you are having a growth spurt, and that it's actually freeing you. It's like being in a room with a locked door, and the only option for getting you out of that room with the locked door is a storm coming through and blowing the damn door down. And some of you too busy grieving the lack of freedom, the lack, period. You're so used to being in the lack, you're so comfortable being in poverty, consciousness, and lack, that you're not seeing where this storm just blew that damn door down. You've been wanting to get up out of here and be free to move about, you know what I'm saying, do shit how you want to do it, and now you have that opportunity, but you're sitting here sulking the circumstance that are really no longer the circumstance. You're missing the opportunity to be free, all because of the mental captivity that you're in and not wanting to get out of your comfort zones, because people get comfortable in poverty. And that poverty can look like financial situations. That poverty can look like low vibe ass relationships. That poverty can look like friendships that have expired, careers that it's time to move on. The storm has come through to blow the door open that was once locked. So I hope that you guys are taking the cues and not so engulfed in mourning the change, the storm. Because one thing for certain and two things for sure, these particular storms in this year 9, or y'all is not letting you go back to sleep. You're not going to be able to sleep and be at peace in the midst of this storm. Like, who was that? Yolanda Adams. I've gone through many hard trials, through temptations on every hand. I don't know the rest of the words. Though Satan tried to stop me and to place my feet on sinking sand, through the pain and all of my sorrows, through the years and all of my tears, the Lord was there to keep me. Oh, he kept me in the midst of it all. You being kept. Literally, God is not letting you fall through all the hard shit you've been through, because you got shit to do. Like, you think you've been getting through hurdles and trials and obstacles and crises just because it ain't your time to go? No, it ain't your time to go, because every minute you got here, you got shit to do. You are protected. You are provided for. That is provision over your life. And in order to show gratitude for the provision over your life and how far you've come, you got to get your ass up and walk through that door that the storm has blown open, that's no longer locked. I had no intention of channeling that. That's straight off the cuff. But anyway, for many of you, your experiences have had you waiting to exhale, and you didn't even know it, because holding your breath, you've been walking around holding your breath, waiting on the motherfucking shoe to drop, pessimistic about success and things working out for you, finding true love, living out your career, living your best life, being comfortable in a healthy situation, because you could be comfortable in toxicity and chaos. That's a thing. But some of you have doubted that you could even have that which you've secretly deep down desired, because you just walk around waiting on the shoe to drop, the other shoe to drop, in situations where now that that door has been blown open, the storm has brought rain to purify you and purify the air. You can now breathe in fresh, clear, emotionally stable air. You can exhale. You can literally just stop holding your breath and let that shit out and be free, and remove the weight that has been on your shoulders and the shit you've been carrying on your back all of this time. And my throat is starting to itch, which is telling me that what you've been carrying, a lot of it has been shit that has gone unspoken. People that had you fucked up, people whom you've admired, things that need to be said that you've been carrying the weight of not saying it. That throat chakra, it's activated. And it's TTG trained to fucking go. You are ready to say what needs to be said, to nip whatever needs to be nipped in the bud, and to start this new beginning, because the next chapter for you very much looks like speaking your truth and standing on business about it and protecting whatever the truth looks like for you, prioritizing whatever your truth is. And not everybody's gonna like it, and that's okay. It's not for them to like. God didn't give them the vision. God gave you the vision. But yeah, the storm has come through to help you to experience surrender, to fully surrender, to not just give God a portion of your life, but all of it. And to, again, stop holding back, not just what needs to be said, but just your efforts, where you place your energy. You're being led to surrender to what it is you already know is for your highest good. Your higher self in the in Ifa or the Yoruban traditional religion is called your Ori. Yeah, that's that version of yourself that I already know what's best for you on your path, and it guides you and protects you and speaks to you when you are vibing at a certain frequency. Many of you have been in contact with your Ori. You know what's best for you. You know the truth. You have clarity. But it's all of these fears and societal conditioning and other people's opinions that's holding you back. And that's where I come in it. Because every now and then you need somebody to shake your ass and tell you to wake up. If you've never seen School Days, the movie, it's reminding me of that scene where Lawrence Fishburne is just sick of the bullshit, light skin versus dark skin and all of that. And he goes to the middle of the schoolyard and he yells, "Wake up!" And he rings the bell. The bell is ringing, boo. Wake the fuck up. But see, the thing is, y'all are woke. You woke, but there's this little desire to go back to sleep. And this storm will not let you. Things have changed forever. Like Cardi B say, if a bitch got drama with me, she gonna have drama with me forever. It's up and it's stuck, babe. It is up and it's stuck. You cannot go back to unknowing what you know now. And because you know, and if you surrender and let go, you're going to experience nervous system regulation. Because you've been walking around holding your breath, waiting on the other shoe to drop, waiting on shit to fuck up, waiting on things to go wrong in some way. In some cases, not even allowing yourself to pursue certain things because you talk yourself out of it before you even get started. Your nervous system is a shitty wreck. And so it's requiring some time to regulate your nervous system intentionally. What you eat, what you drink, less caffeine, less drama, more peace, more meditation. I literally listen to, from time to time, nervous system regulation frequencies, especially like after a workout when I get in the sauna, to do that work from the inside out to regulate my nervous system, because that's really the only time I'm consuming caffeine like that. Like lately I've been trying mushroom coffee, so every now and then in the morning I'll make me a mushroom coffee latte, and that's a little bit of caffeine. But otherwise I really don't consume a lot of caffeine, because I know what it does to create anxiety, or to perpetuate anxiety. So you want to be mindful of your nervous system and prioritizing your peace, because a lot of you're in a space where these storms have made you more sensitive to the energies around you, and that is intentional. God ain't making no mistakes on every detail of your life. And that's coming to show you where you're needing to prioritize your peace, and who and what works against that. What's getting on your goddamn nerves, what you don't have the tolerance for, what you no longer have time for, the energy for, the desire for. Your taste and change is changing in people and environments and places. Like, it's for your highest good. It's the upgrade that you needed. And for many of you, you've needed this upgrade for a while, but because you weren't voluntarily making the change, the divine has now forced the change on you. You can't ignore it. Your circumstances are forcing the change, the maturation, the expansion on you. God said, by hook or by crook, you're going to walk in your divinity today, my boy. And I love that for y'all, because that's love. If a motherfucker love you, they not finna let you sleep on yourself. And who better to show you that kind of love than the big homie G.O.D. herself. But prioritizing your peace, regulating your nervous system, this whole process, it's teaching you your bandwidth, what you have the capacity for, and it's also helping you better cultivate boundaries, which has been the missing ingredient. Not only the not having boundaries and people pleasing, but not knowing how to communicate your boundaries and how to enforce your boundaries and how to like stand on business for real when it comes to your boundaries. Because communicating the boundary is half the battle. You know what I'm saying? It's the standing on business when a motherfucker cross that boundary that be the thing for a lot of people, and not going back on it. So the lesson for many of you is better acquainting yourself with and communicating your bandwidth and your boundaries. If you know you ain't got the bandwidth to entertain people's shit, whether it be innocent or no, you know what I'm saying, motherfucker call you for advice every day, all day, or just on your line every day, all day, you know you don't have the capacity for it, like, honor yourself. You ain't gotta be rude, you don't gotta be an asshole, but shit, I'm tired. We're gonna have to do this another time, or you're gonna have to find somebody else to do it. That's self-love, that's self-honoring. Me, as someone who does healing work professionally, I have to have strong boundaries. One thing I am finding is that people want to befriend me to receive what I bring to the table professionally for free. Not everybody. My intuition and my discernment tells me who leeching and who genuinely, like, it is what it is, you know, and coming from a good place. But there are people who, they see my light and they want to come and stand in it and benefit from it, knowing full well this is how I make my living, and don't want to pay for it. They just want to kick it and get all the information. You know what I'm saying? To get the wisdom, to get the knowledge, or whatever it is that I'm bringing to the table. So it's my responsibility, not theirs. It's my responsibility to be like, yeah, now I got a class on that. I got a YouTube video on that very topic. You should go watch it, click, like, subscribe. You know what I'm saying? I do sound healing for just that thing. You know what I'm saying? You want to book one? That's my responsibility, to protect myself in that way and to honor myself in that way. So that's a similar experience that you guys may be having or need to have. One thing that stood out to me was I was doing a reading and the card that came out was Goblin. Do I have that deck in here? I don't. And in that moment when I noticed the card, I heard a line from a Lil Wayne song, A Millie. And it's the part where he say, okay, you're a goon, but what's a goon to a goblin? And I said, that's not a coincidence. No such thing as those. But if it was one, that definitely ain't one. So I started diving into like the spiritual significance of what a goon is and what a goblin is, right? A goon is your persona, the armor that you wear to protect yourself from being vulnerable. That tough guy act, the ego, the mask that you wear. But a goblin is your shadows, the shit that hides behind the mask, the whole purpose for you even putting the mask on or the armor on to protect yourself. And the goblin is more powerful than the goon. The goon is the front. The goblin is the one that be punking the goon out all the time. It's the trauma response, the goblin. It's the old fears and the old wounding and the childhood shit. It's the insecurity and the imposter syndrome. That's the shit you wrestle with when you are alone and that you think you hiding when you're interacting with other people. But as I say all the time, you can fool some of the people some of the time, but you can't fool all of the people all of the time. For instance, goon goblin type situation. Example. I am noticing where a common thing that people do is say, when you telling them something, you sharing something with them, you being vulnerable or whatever, if a person is feeling insecure within themselves in that moment, they will say, you better than me because I would have. You nicer than me because I would have did this. They're going to make the situation comparative. And they're going to use it as an opportunity to take you down a notch and prop themselves up, to put themselves on a pedestal. And people do that shit a lot, yo. And I've gotten to the point where I don't let it anger me, but I don't let it slide. I'm going to say something. What I say may be passive aggressive or it may be aggressive, but I'm going to say something. I'm going to acknowledge it for what it is. I'm going to say, well, actually, no. Different strokes for different folks. You're saying you would have handled it this way, but actually I saw fit to handle it for my highest good this way or whatever. But you have to pick and choose your battles because you ain't got to explain to a motherfucker nothing. The whole point is that you see beyond what it is that they're presenting. You see beyond the goon and you identify the goblin. Sometimes you got to call that goblin ass out. You got to perform an exorcism. Get your low vibe ass out of here with that shit. Don't project your shit onto me, trying to tear me down to build yourself up. Sometimes you need to do that. And in other cases, fuck that shit. But you have to just learn to use your discernment on that. But when it comes to you, call yourself out every goddamn time you do that to yourself. For many of you, you're no longer storm chasing, seeking the thrills, seeking the chaos, because that's where you thrive. That's where you're comfortable. By way of the many ways that you've learned to survive and been in survival mode and lack consciousness and poverty consciousness. You're no longer comfortable with conflict and chaos and bullshit and low vibe energy. And instead, you're finding safety in storm watching and controlling the storm, using your power to control the atmosphere. So when you're storm watching, that's like you being in the eye of the storm, which is said to be the safest place to be if ever there's a storm. If a hurricane or a tornado or whatever come through, should your exact location at that time be in the center the eye of that storm, that's the safest place to be during the storm. So I know me, I've always loved watching storms. Very seldom has there been intense thunder and lightning and wind and all of that, and I'm afraid. I will sit on the couch looking out the window, watching the rain blow sideways, feeling completely protected and at peace and in awe of God's glory. And so it's the same with the storms in your life. Sometimes you need to adopt witness consciousness, where you just get still and watch how things are shaping themselves in your life, even when it's uncomfortable, and just trust that you're safe no matter what's going on around you or what the circumstances look like. And the next thing you know, the motherfucking storm is over. You know what I'm saying? And you sitting there in one piece, all your shit intact. So sometimes you just need to wait the storm out and watch the storm and be in witness consciousness. If you're not familiar with witness consciousness, it's a thing. I didn't just make that shit up. So Google it. But when it comes to having the power to control the storm, that is called atmokinesis. Kinesis meaning the power to influence or change, motivate in some way. Atmo being short for atmosphere. Know that you have the power to change the temperature in a situation. You know what I'm saying? It's something where people say about a thermostat being a thermostat or a thermometer. Y'all might want to look that up because I ain't well versed in it, but it's relative to what I'm saying. Being able to, one, reads the temperature, which is the thermometer. A thermostat can change the temperature. Be a thermostat. Be the one that you can adjust the climate. If there's chaos, you can create calm. Even if it's for yourself, because some people want the smoke. They want the chaos. Bitch, you can have it. I'm not entertaining that shit. I'm at peace over here, and I'm going to protect my peace. I'm going to stay in my peace. I'm going to stay centered. I'm going to prioritize my peace. You want some of this peace, and no, access denied. You cannot have it. You want to disturb my peace. Hell no, I ain't finna let you. That's being in control of the atmosphere of the situation. I was telling my friend today a story about how I had went to dinner with a friend and some of her friends, and we were all cool, but they were more her friends than my friends. We were celebrating somebody's birthday, and I done ordered my food. I done got me some wine. It was one of them restaurants like a Roof Chris or whatever, where you order your meat and then you order your sides, and the sides might be $20 a piece or some shit like that. And I've always been one that I ain't got to have an old expensive ass meal, but I don't mind paying good money for good food and a good dining experience. So my I had bought like sides that I shared with the table, Brussels sprouts and shit like that. Girl, you want some? Here, get y'all some. Woo, woo, woo. And when my ticket came, my ticket alone was like $125, I think. Yeah, it was around $125. And I'm getting my shit ready to pay for my ticket. And there was a chick there that was like, damn, girl, your ticket alone $125. Girl, mind your goddamn business. You want to put something in on it? You weren't concerned about how much my ticket was when I was ordering shit and sharing it and you was eating it? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's lack consciousness, though. I'm on a date. I think everybody there had somebody they was with, and it was just me. I'm taking myself on a date. I'm going to treat myself. When I got it, listen, I'm gonna make sure I got what I want. And this particular person was there with their husband, and I think she made a comment to the effect that that's the cost of both our ticket or something like that. I said, yeah, I'm on a date, and this the cost of me and my date ticket, me and me. You know what I'm saying? Like, the fuck out of here. Why are we having a whole dialogue about what I spend on my money, on my food? You know what I'm saying? I'm in my zone. I'm having a good time, and I'm cool, calm, and collected. And even though that was tacky as hell, I'm not about to let you ruin my night because you coming at me with this insecure shit. Because in this moment, I am practicing atmokinesis. I control the environment. Now, we can sit here and be petty and bicker back and forth about why you in my business, about my damn ticket, Or I could just let it be known that, baby, this is what I do. I'm good. I got it. I don't need no input on it. You know what I'm saying? If that's your concern or whatever. And still keep my vibes high and enjoy myself. So just using that as an example of like how you sometimes find yourself in situations where you got to be the one to control the narrative, so to speak, and not let people trick you off your square. So we coming out of the universal year 9, and we're going into a universal year 1. I think I'm gonna do like a whole separate reading on the energy of 2026. But 2026 will be a universal year 1, which very much a year of initiation. And in the Orisha pantheon, it is it's associated, the number 1, with Obatala. Obatala is the image of like an old man, old black man with gray hair, full beard, and he represents wisdom, calm. So this is the calm after the storm of Oya. And not everybody has the capacity to carry the calm, to carry the wisdom. In order to get to the point that Obatala has gotten to, you have had to go through some shit. But Obatala is the calm in the middle of the storm, knowing how to keep your peace while shit ain't stable and change is taking place, and also knowing how to appreciate the quiet and the calm after the storm. That is Obatala's energy. That's going to be a huge calming energy for the collective in the universal year 1 of 2026 as we make that shift. I think I already covered some of this shit that I wrote in my notes, kind of getting ahead of myself. But yeah, freedom. You guys are being freed. If you have not familiarized yourself with Gene Key 55 and Richard Rudd's Gene Keys, I highly suggest that you do that. That one's very significant to the year of 2026 as well. We'll talk more about it when I do the universal 1 year reading, 2026 year reading for the channel. But this freedom that you are moving into, that you're needing to surrender to, that the storm is giving you access to, is less physical freedom. Not to say that it's not, but more freedom of like your identity, how you express yourself, being your authentic self, having the freedom to do that. That is the freedom that is being brought to the forefront and center stage for you guys, and having the freedom to be strong and vulnerable, not just thinking your strength comes from holding everything in and taking care of everything by yourself and paying bills and carrying all the stress and carrying all the weight, when there are people around to help you, or there are better ways to go about what it is you're doing that are less stressful. Not subscribing to the chaos, not subscribing to the harder way of going about things. The vulnerability component of this is huge, and I channeled a song that speaks heavily to it, and it's called Giving Myself by Jennifer Hudson. Now, for some of you, this song is speaking to a love connection, divine union between you and your divine feminine counterpart, and where you are or will be on a journey when you surrender to what you know to be true about the connection. For others of you, this is you surrendering, giving yourself to your divine femininity. For those of you who are fighting that part of you because it's gay, or it's too soft, or it's you don't understand it and you don't try to understand it, it's still pertinent to your journey. So take it how it resonates. But the song speaks heavily of trust, vulnerability, acknowledgement, reverence, and ultimately balance. There was a song that I wanted to channel, talk about to y'all. That's one of her songs as well. It's called Spotlight, and it kind of speaks to the energy that y'all are shifting out of. I think it was her debut single on her first album, but she talks about not wanting to live in this person's spotlight and live up to their expectations of her. And she talks about, like, she questions, what's your motive here? What do you want from me? You want this performative shit, or you want the real me? Like, you really love me, or you just want to be in control of me? Are you a guard in a maximum security prison, or am I free to be me, my authentic self in this connection? That sort of thing. I'm going to share it on the community board and let y'all explore it yourselves, but I am going to go through the lyrics of Giving Myself with y'all. So, the lyrics to Giving Myself are, I never been who I wanted to be. Never been who you dreamed of and desired, maybe even as a child who you saw yourself evolving to be, realizing in this storm that through by way of your circumstances and the changes that are taking place, that you once had dreams and aspirations or a image of yourself that you wanted to embody, and you've not evolved into that person for whatever reason. I never felt completely free, always having felt bound by something in some way and not entirely free, be it societal conditioning, actual circumstance, your own limitations, but this is very much coming into your limitlessness and that gene key 55 freedom. No one's ever had all of me. Because I've not been this person, I've held back. I've had that armor. I've shown up as a goon. And even when I've given the best of me, it still wasn't all of me, because I ain't been acquainted with that person my damn self. I've not evolved to be that person. So I couldn't give people that of me, which I didn't have of myself, which is 100% of me. I was always cautious and had my guard up a bit. I may have given my body and a little bit of my heart, but I ain't never gave just myself, just surrendered to a situation, especially a love connection, or made me feel so beautiful and sexy. That's desirability, having never felt so desired and attractive and magnetic. Now I'm flying like an airplane. Freedom. And vibing high, elevating and evolving and not feeling bound by anyone or anything. Now I'm riding on the open range. Now I'm living out my destiny. Again, no boundaries, no limitations. The door been blown open. You're free to move about how you want to, but how you want to is not reckless. It's self-honoring. Now I'm living out my destiny, knowing that you're on a destined path, knowing that your steps have been ordered, knowing that you have divine provision, knowing that the trajectory of your life is destined, that it's fated, that your sacred contract is playing out. I know the truth. That's clarity. I got it all in you and me. So for those of you who resonate with the twin flame journey and coming into union with your external divine feminine energy, this is coming to realize that up to this point, you've not valued any of this, therefore not sought any of this or sought to have clarity about any of this. But now you do, and you see that you have it by way of your connection with another individual, a counterpart, your reflection, your mirror, your destined life partner. And then the hook is, oh, I'm giving myself over to you, body and soul. You used to give your body freely, but now you're ready to give your body and your soul. You're ready to get that heart up and that spirit and give it all. I'm giving myself over to you totally. And in the state that it's in, not expecting perfection out of myself or you, but just being present for what it is and committed to getting better. I'm giving it over. I'm giving myself over to you. Surrendering. That's the thing that people say when they get in a relationship and they get married and they make these commitments and these covenants. It's what they say they're doing. But then when the actual work on a day-to-day from moment to moment comes into play, they like, yeah, and I'm straight. You got it. And they're resorting to the goon, goblin, back and forth of it all. The lyrics say, like a brand new day. That's that new cycle. Now you and I, we're the face of fame. We set the standard. We set the tone. We're not trying to fashion ourselves as successful according to other people's measure of success. We mapping our own shit out. We creating our own legacy. We creating our own bond. We doing shit how we want to do it, whether it's 50, 50, 60, 40, 30, 29, 100, 0, like however we want to do it, we doing it, and we're doing what makes us happy opposed to other people's standard. Ain't nobody got nothing to say, and from my feelings, I never had to run away. That's safety. And even if people had something to say, not giving a fuck. And from my feelings, I never had to run away. That's past tense, because that's somebody realizing that they were always safe in this dynamic. Or if you're one of those people who resonate with this message, but you're integrating your masculine and your divine masculine and feminine energy, your femininity was always a safe place to land. But because you didn't know just how valuable that is, and you didn't know how to hold space for that, you took it for granted or negated it in some way, and then take full advantage of having that presence in your life. But now you know better, so you are committing to doing better by giving yourself. And from my feelings, I never had to run away no more, because he's here to stay, holding me tight every day and every night. This is commitment. This is safety. This is security. This is stability. He's holding me tight. This is somebody not letting you go, not giving up on you. And being consistent by showing up every day and every night. Or even if you don't want to be bothered, every day and every night, they show up enough to let you know, I'm here. I ain't jump ship on you. You know what I'm saying? I'm not abandoning you, which for many of you is the source of a lot of these wounds and why you behaved the way you did prior to this storm and had to be forced out of that behavior, because you were behaving from your abandoned, neglected place, whether that's in adulthood and or childhood. Oh, baby, can't you see that I don't want to be without you anymore? Then it goes back to the hook. I can stand in front of someone finally. I can be me. I could just let my love spill over. This is somebody feeling seen. Finally, somebody sees me for who I am and not who I present myself to be. And I can just let my love spill over. I can let my cup run it over and give my overflow to someone. I've identified something or someone worth giving my overflow to, and making sure that I even have overflow. I want to be my best self so that I can show up with some shit to give and do for you, or a way to be for you. So that's dope, because that's self-love, and that's what self-love is supposed to do. You're supposed to give from your overflow, and what's in your cup brimming over the top, that's for you. If it ain't overflowing, you ain't got it to give other people. I can cry. I don't have to lie. I can fully let someone all the way inside. I don't have to be a goon. I don't have to put that mask on. I don't have to put that armor on. I can be vulnerable. I can be emotional because I'm safe in this situation. I don't have to lie. Lie for what? I'm a grown-ass man. Whatever I desire, I can just be honest about it. You know what I'm saying? And govern myself accordingly from there. I don't have to manipulate and lie, cheat, steal, none of that. I can finally let someone all the way in, instead of letting people get one foot in and making sure that they keep one foot out. Making sure that I put myself in circumstances that don't require commitment. Then they play the hook comes in, and then it says, you know it's the right time. I know it's the right night. I know it's the right life. I know you're the right man. I know I'm the right girl. That's that yin and yang balance of masculine and feminine energy coming together. You're the perfect puzzle piece. And this is divine timing. It's time for us to come together. It's time for us to do this. This is the right night. Not Tuesday, not Thursday, not this day. Whatever that day looks like. Like, the time is now. And I know it's the right life. having that soul recognition that we've done this shit before. In another lifetime, in another place, we've done this before. If you have not checked out the lyrics to D'Angelo's In Another Life, check that out, because that speaks to past life, twin flame connection. And at the end it says, I've never loved nobody else. This is coming to realize that you ain't never been in love. What you thought it was actual conditional. It was circumstantial. There were strings attached in some kind of way. It was survival. But this is, I don't need shit from you, and you don't need shit from me. But I just love you, bitch. And I know you love me. And it's pure. It's innocent. So I hope this message found y'all well. If it did not find you well, I hope that it leaves you well. If you have questions, feel free to email me. Comments, put them down in the comment section below. If you'd like a personal reading, reach out to book that. If you'd like to join my coaching program, the applications are still open and will be until, I think I'm going to close them on 12/12, the To Thine Own Self Be True program. But yeah, y'all, this one done wore me out. Until next time, peace.